Hey there. So today I want to talk a little about, was it real? Was it real for you? Was everything you experienced in the relationship with the narcissist real or a lie? And the confusion that comes for people when they realize that the narcissist version of the relationship was not the one you were living. In other words, when the mask comes off and you start seeing the truth, the confusion and the grief that's within that. So let's just get going with that and get started. This came from a question someone had, and they said there wasn't a lot talked about this. So I'm going to try and talk about it. It is one of those topics that I truly think is best talked through individually, one-on-one with someone. So if this is something you need, check out, the coaching information if you need it. There's other people, but mine's down there if you need it. The group coaching, anything where you can get one-on-one talking through this particular topic, because this is a really personal, specific topic to each person's life individually, and everyone's going to have a little bit different reasons and feelings about why they're hanging on to whatever it is they're hanging on to. Right? There's a lot that goes into this, and we're talking about grief here, and it's not an easy topic to generalize about. Okay, but I'm going to try. So what was really what I'm understanding of what was asked is if something was real for you, okay? And I have a lot of stuff written down here, so I'm going to be looking down at it because, like I said, this is hard to talk about just, shooting from the hip. So you had these feelings, these beliefs, this whole image of your life, this whole experience of your life. Have had this whole life, right, with someone, and then you come to realize it was all a lie. For example, you might have a memory of a time you were on a vacation and it was really wonderful and blah, 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 and how connected you felt and how in love you felt. Come to realize that entire time you were gone, they were texting their side person. They were been cheating the whole time. And so then the lie about what you were actually experiencing, which to you was a loving romantic relationship with someone, it's exposed. And then people, yes, Jack, let me finish this sentence and then I'll see if I can figure this out real quick. Then people are left feeling lost and kind of desperate for understanding of what was real. Does that make sense? And if you've been in this situation, that's just one example, but that's a pretty clear one. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this. I click you and I say, there you go, done. All right. Okay, so let's keep going. So what happens in a relationship with a narcissistic person is, from the very beginning, you've been groomed. You've been groomed to believe the mask that they are wearing is the truth of who they are. You've been groomed very, very slowly to believe in a truth. You're being shown a reality that isn't real from the get-go. I've had them tell me, I've heard them tell other people secondhand how this happens. Tremor. This happens because often they are putting on the face they want the world to believe they are in order to get the prize. And if the prize is a person, then they're putting on the mask that they want you to believe they are so that you fall for them, so that you're interested in them. Then they continue on with this by throwing a bunch of love bombing at you and then maybe pulling it away just slightly and throwing more at you and pulling it away just slightly, so that you become dependent on the love bombing. You become dependent and addicted to the feelings that they're giving you in the relationship. And if you are a person who is codependent, a lot of people who have BPD, who are with people with NPD, this can be extremely difficult, because people who are codependent and people who have people who don't have the self-esteem and the individuation from other people, in other words, it's difficult for them to live a life without the external validation from others to a larger extreme. We all need a bit of it, right? It can be difficult because they're giving you exactly what you've always thought you wanted, what you've always thought you needed, and they've created this very tight and meshed relationship where you're dependent on their giving and they're going to dole it out as they want. And so all of that is part of the grooming. It's part of the love bomb. It's part of the process, whether they do it intentionally like a psychopath or they do it unintentionally because it's always worked like a more lower level narcissist. This is kind of what happens, okay? And because of this, because this is going on, that's their reality, okay? Your reality is you're in a new relationship with someone and you're falling for this person because they're giving you all this affection, they're giving you all this attention and love, and it feels real, right? So what's the reality? Where's the truth? What is real in that situation? Well, they're both real, right? And hello to everyone. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just, if I look over here, I forget what I'm saying here. And this topic for me is difficult to talk about without it being a one-on-one conversation. So, but I'm trying to get it out there because I was told there aren't a lot of videos about this. So we're going to try. Whoa, I keep hitting this. I've moved my table and I keep hitting the leg. All right. So does that make sense? So what is real and where's the reality? Where's the truth? The truth is both. The truth is both things are real. And that can be hard to accept because how can I be in love with this person that I think they are? And how can they be faking the way they're acting in order to just get my attention? How can that be? I think in this case, in situations like this, when you realize that the mask has come off and who they really are underneath, acceptance is crucial. It's painful. There's a heck of a lot of grief around the acceptance of who they are. In fact, I hear people who know everything, people will tell me in graphic detail everything the person did. And they know in their minds that's who that person is. But it can be really hard to accept fully because the trauma bonding, because the cognitive dissonance, because who wants to believe that about another person? Who wants to believe that about your own life? That it was all just a fantasy, someone's fantasy. Here's the thing. When you're with a narcissist, you're living their delusion with them. You aren't living your life alongside them. You become a plug-in player in their life. And you're moving through life according to the delusion that they live. And you're as much a part of that mask as they are the mask. It's not your fault. You're just believing what you're seeing, which you should be able to trust your partner, right? So it's very confusing and it's very, very, very painful. Okay. They don't even know who they are, right? Okay. Somebody's asking me. Okay. There we go. Okay. So let's keep going. So we talked a little bit about love bombing. If you're a person who is susceptible to falling for love bombing, okay, we're not all susceptible to it. Some of us are very skeptical when someone gives a compliment, even a little bit. I mean, I can't even take love bombing from platonic friends who are strangers, right? I can't. No, some of us can't. We're just like, nope, they want something from me. And some of us really, really, really fall for it. We fall for it because it's something we've always needed. We've always wanted. They're saying all the right things. Love bombing doesn't have to be extremely overt. I'm sure there's kinds I even fall for, of course, right? But some people are more susceptible to the love bombing because of their need for attention and affection and love. Okay, they're really seeking love so desperately, so deeply that they fall for it when it comes in the form of love bombing. They hear the words and they know that it could be fake, but it's really hard to, like I've heard, I knew it could have been fake, but I fell for it, right? So it can be really difficult. And so what can you do? I mean, in the situations like that, it's like slow it down, get to know the person, understand that's where you go. I fall for it easy. I'm going to just keep my distance. I'm going to keep watching and paying attention so that I don't end up with another narcissist. But that's another topic. Let's keep going on this one. So anyway, some people are susceptible to it. And when you're susceptible to it, you believe what you're being told, right? You want so desperately to believe it. You need to believe it. They keep doing it. And so it must be true. So Is there any truth to it when a narcissist is love bombing? Of course there is. You are beautiful. You are fun. You are pretty. You are handsome. You are charming. You are this, you are that. You are smart. You're amazing. All the things they want you for, all the things that they take from you and twist around to make you then believe the opposite about yourself later on in the relationship. All the stuff they're telling you and they're love bombing you, all the good things about yourself, they're true. Okay, so yes, there's truth. Of course, there's truth. Oops, again, they see you in that way. They see what's good about you. Of course they do, and they're giving it to you. What's not true about it is that it means anything more than somebody observing your good qualities. It doesn't mean the rest of the world doesn't see that. They make you feel like they oh my gosh, I'm the only person that sees this amazing person that you are and blah, 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 right? Nope, we all see it. We all see each other's good stuff, right? We just don't gush it out and like spew it all over people to try and get attention back. So we believe, so yes, there's the truth. The truth is, yes, you are these amazing things. The lie is their intention of why they're doing it. They're doing it because they can't be alone. They're doing it because they need somebody to give them what we call supply, what they would call attention, what they would call, what was I told? Admiration and worship. So they legitimately need that, okay? And they need it because that they live through the delusion of their ego, and they need something to always be supporting that their ego is right. Because if they even for a second looked into their subconscious and made accountability and had accountability toward anything that was actually real about them, actually like the vulnerable stuff, the stuff we need to work on, the reason that people with empathy are so different from narcissists, they wouldn't be narcissists, right? So this is kind of how it works. All right. What are we saying here? Yep, you fall for it over and over. It happens, Christy. It happens. And it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because they're really good at it. And it's because we have such a need for often, I mean, I don't know you, but often we have such a need for something in there. We of course, we're humans. We want love. We want affection. We want relationship. We want, I mean, not everyone does, but you know, a lot of people do. It's kind of a human experience. So, okay, so let's keep going. And the thing about grooming and love bombing combined. So when they're grooming, they're slowly building up your, it's the frog in the boiling water, right? Where you put the frog in the cold water and slowly raise the temperature. The frog doesn't know it's in the boiling water until the water is boiling, right? So that's the grooming process. You combine that with a bunch of love bombing and then pulling away of the love bombing with the intermittent not love bombing or devaluing once that starts. It confuses your brain. It creates cognitive dissonance, which means you see one thing and believe another. It's legitimately altering the way your brain is working, okay? And also the grooming and the love bombing feel good. Why would you question it, right? Unless you're skeptical because you've had it happen before, why would you question it? Even when you have, it can feel different because you can have really, really crafty people, more, you know, that really charming people who are narcissistic, giving you, my knee is like stuck right on the bar and I can't move. Okay, so anyway, how do you know if this is happening? How do you know when you're being love bombed and lied to versus what's real? Well, time. You don't engage too early with your everything. Right? You keep a piece of yourself, your own life on the side. You pay attention to when you're not being true to you. And again, this is a little off topic, but it's worth saying. You get to know the person through time, through experiences, through different experiences, through watching them in different situations, through conversations, through watching their accountability toward things, their empathy toward things, before you believe that them telling you all these wonderful things about your future and life together is going to happen, right? You can even say, I need to slow down those thoughts. Those are great thoughts. If someone says, oh my gosh, we should do this and that. Yes, those sound great. Once we get to know each other, that'd be fun, you know, and you can slow it down and keep paying attention. And also when you do start seeing that someone is wearing a mask, your ability to leave once you've been through this is part of your healing. Okay. So when people say, oh, I met another one, and they get really upset, and I say, how long was it? And they say 4 months. I say, perfect. That's about how long it should take to start seeing things come unhinged and the mask falling off. And that is, and leaving that, it's normal to date for a while and see things and then be like, nope, it's okay. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you because you found another one. It means you found one and you're leaving, you're walking away from it before you're invested, and your entire life feels like a lie. So let's go back to that. So back to this. You were on lots of my YouTube right before COVID, maybe one since. I got my crap together. Yay, my brain back together and off of him 18 months. Yes, good, excellent. Okay, gonna keep going. And if you have a question and I miss it because I'm just talking and talking, please repeat it. I struggle with the scrolling back and the thing, but I'll do that at the end and try. So, okay, a little bit more here. So dealing with the fact that there's two different realities going on. It's kind of what I was trying to explain in the beginning. There are two different realities going on. But the truth is, in every relationship, there are two different realities going on if there's two people in the relationship. There's mine and yours. There's that his and hers, hers and hers, his and his, whatever the combo, right? There's each person's individual experience of the relationship. So the difference is when you're with someone without empathy, that's going to look drastically different. So if two people with empathy, their version of the relationship might align pretty closely, right? It might be like, yeah, we worked together. We started struggling, like say someone divorced without it being narcissistic. We worked together. We started struggling. We separated. We went to counseling. We did this. We were really trying. And then someone say, I had a hard time dealing with that. I had a hard time dealing with this. But it all aligns. It makes sense, right? Because you got two people working towards something. Both of them have empathy. Both of them have issues in the situation, and they have their own versions, but they're close, right? You can see they're on at least the similar train tracks right next to each other. With a narcissist, you're dealing with someone without empathy. Someone without empathy is going to have an entirely different viewpoint of the entire world and humanity and their place in it. Okay? They're going to think that they're going to feel more like everything, that they're entitled to everything, that they're the only ones who matter. Everything becomes self-directed back to them, what they want, what they think, what they feel. The mask that they wear, they believe while they're wearing it half the time, or they convince themselves, similar to the way a compulsive liar might, that it's justifiable, or that they tell the lie enough times they even believe it kind of feeling. I think they create a sort of dissonance in their own brains because of so much lying. I mean, a mask is a lie. That's what it is. It's a lie about who you are. And it's a pretty deep lie because it's a big difference between what they're wearing and who they are. So you see, of course, the relationship is different for you and for them. Because for you, you're reacting to what's coming at you. Oh my gosh, they've changed. They're no longer telling me nice things. They're no longer paying any attention to me. They seem to be angry all the time. They seem to be upset. They seem to be, they seem to ruin every holiday, whatever, the things we talk about. How come every time I talk to them, they deny things? How come this happens? Then we're talking about the gaslighting. So you see, from our experience, we are being controlled through the manipulations. But we're not like, oh my gosh, I'm being controlled. Not till later, right? We're saying, oh, it must be something I need to fix. Oh, maybe if we tried therapy. Oh, we're working on the relationship. What they're working on is maintaining the delusion, maintaining their position, maintaining their power. So you see, very self-directed, whereas our experience is very communally directed toward the relationship itself. Of course, we have our own feelings about ourselves in it, but can you see what I'm saying here? Why it would be completely different? So the truth is it's a different reality. It's a totally different reality. And now he's going to yip at the door because I said, please leave him out. And so the kid's like, open the door and let him in. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is we're following the natural flow of a relationship. They are following the flow of maintaining what they want, which is you to believe certain things about them, the world to believe certain things about them, on and on, right? So it is very different. Was it real? Was it real? Two different realities is what it is, and we have to accept it. So do they love us? Sure, in their own way, like they love an object, like they love something that they're excited about for a few minutes. It's superficial, it's shallow, it's objectified, it's conditional, it's transactional. That's their love, but that's love to them. And if you ask them if they love, they're going to say yes, and to them that's real. Okay, that's not what we think of as love, right? But so can you see how one reality is not the same as the other reality because of the way the brain works when a person doesn't have empathy and when they can't take accountability? Okay. All right, let's see. Another thing that happens in this kind of situation, what we're talking about here, is the narcissist has created a dependency in you on them, like I said before, for this. So you wouldn't walk up to someone you don't know and expect them to give you attention. You wouldn't be in a friendship with someone that's pretty mellow and calm and, like gives you normal attention, right? Like listens, but then doesn't gush at you, and expect them to gush at you. But the narcissist has set up this pattern. And it's why we think they're so special and so charming and so amazing, right? And not all of them, they don't all love bomb, but for some people, okay? And they all do this in their own way. It may not look the same for each one, okay? But that dependency that we have for that need to be filled just stays like open like a gaping hole until they give us the thing. So this gets our brain confused and gets us to stop looking at the reality of the relationship. It makes us start to manage the relationship, so the good stuff comes back. I cannot tell you how many times I have talked to people who say, if only it could be like it was in the beginning. Okay, well, I would guess that almost every relationship out there, there's a little bit of that, right? Because the beginning is fun. But in a relationship with a narcissist, it means something very different. It is, oh my gosh, I'm hurting all the time. I'm crying all the time. This is happening. That's how, like I'm being gaslit. I'm being, all these things. Why can't it be like it was when they actually liked me? It feels like they don't even like me. And yet they say, so school needs to start soon. It's so hard with everyone home. Okay. So anyway, that can confuse you and make you think you're living one reality because your reality becomes so wrapped up in managing the relationship. Does that make sense? You're so wrapped up in managing things that you get lost in it. And then you start to believe, and then you start to say, well, I worked so hard on this relationship. I worked so hard to build things up, to make things good. And I tried so hard. You're investing in something that isn't equally being invested in and has a different reality. Okay. So, let's see. And remember also there's a control power play that goes on with that. And when you're in a constant battle for control, and we don't think we're trying to control, but what we're trying to do by managing these relationships down and managing things so that we're walking on eggshells is we're trying to control our environment so we're not being hurt. And that shouldn't be there, but that confuses things too. And it makes you feel like you're doing one thing. And then when the mask comes off and you see all the little bits of this relationship are deception. And the deception makes us behave in ways, because we don't know it's deception while it's happening, it behave in ways that makes us really invest ourselves in this relationship, which then makes it feel like it's super real and super important. And it like elevates the importance of the relationship well beyond where it should be in a healthy place, right? So that's where we end up and that's where we go. And that's why one reason it can be really hard to go to the next point, which is accept that they are who they are. what was real for you was 100% real for you. And here's just some of the reasons why. It was real for you because you've had to fight for this relationship. You've had to grow on your own all these skills and tools and ways of managing things. And you have studied and you have researched and you have done everything you can. And you have looked into things about how to make relationships better. You have taken accountability for your side. You've begged and pleaded and apologized for the small things you've done. You've done all this investing. And that was real. That was real for you. But was it real for them? Sure, it was real for them that they got that gave them attention, that gave them, you see, different reality. It's a different reality. We have to accept it, that it's a different reality. And in truth, everybody's reality is different from everybody else's. It's just drastically different. I'm going to repeat with someone without empathy. Okay. What can we do here? If you're feeling like somebody said, it feels like their stability's been shattered because what they believed was their relationship and what they believed was the love in their life wasn't, right? And what I want to say to that is, at that point, acceptance that happened. Sure, your feet have been knocked out from under you. You are floating away, untethered, whatever it is, whatever image you like or whatever image suits you. Yes, that is happening. And we have to then build a new foundation underneath ourselves that is made up of things that are actually stable. Other people and the reliance on other people for our stability isn't a foundation. That should come after the foundation. Does that make sense? It's important if you want a relationship, for that relationship to have stability and to have trust and to have a foundation that is one of mutual caring and all of that, right? Of course, that's important. And that's not to say we shouldn't want that. But underneath all that has to be our self-worth, our values in ourself, knowing ourself, trusting ourself, believing in ourself. All of that has to come underneath it. So if you feel like your stability is shattered, it could be time to start building the parts of yourself up that feel shattered from this relationship or from past relationships or just from never having had the self-worth that you need to have a good foundation. So does that make sense? So maybe what I'm suggesting here is if your stability feels shattered, it's not entirely a bad thing, because you don't want the stability of a narcissist telling you who you are in life, because they're going to do nothing but hurt you. All right. You don't want that to be your foundation. So I think that is it. I think what I want to say here also is that understand that this is really painful. It's really hard to talk about without actually talking to a person, like I said. And it's this is a part of the grief process after letting go of a narcissist and after all of the stuff that has happened with them. And you're grieving not only the loss of a relationship, you're grieving the loss of a perceived life, right? You're grieving the loss of what you thought was real. It's confusing. It makes your mind, it's mind numbing. Okay. So take your time, take it piece by piece. Sometimes try to forget about it for a day or two, and just do other things and let it settle as you build this foundation underneath yourself that is actually more important than worrying about whether it was real for them. Finding indifference toward what their experience was, at a certain point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they experienced because they're no longer in your life and they were toxic to you. All right. Okay. So let me read what's going on here. Okay. Oh my, so much chat. Hello, everybody. Okay. I am not going to, okay. If anybody had a question, can you just please repeat it or copy paste it? I am too distracted today to... let's see. Let me just ask this. Does anyone have anything they would like to talk about? Could be related to this topic, unrelated to this topic, whatever. Does anyone need any help with anything? If not, I think we're just going to end pretty soon and call it a day. Oh, wait. Oh. I'm in the can't stand the love bombing camp, yeah, right. Nor do I do well with compliments or external validation, especially when I don't believe it. And that's interesting too, because there is a totally different topic, but there is something to being graceful and have gratitude for the compliments, because what that allows you to see is parts of yourself that we can't really see without the mirror of somebody else reflecting it at us. Does that make sense? So genuine compliments, I know it's hard, but I think it's important, it's helpful to at least be open to playing with maybe sort of just trying some words like thank you and smiling, or just seeing what it feels like to hear the words, even if you feel uncomfortable, to hear the words and go, that's right. I do that. I am that. This does look good today. This is a good color. This is, like, to just not take it. We take ourselves so personally because we've been so tossed around emotionally, right? Sometimes it can just be lighter. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. Let's see, did I miss any? You guys are typing and I'm just like way up there. Okay. Let's see. It's that time of day where I start singing okay. The parental alienation I still struggle with is creating a new relationship with children that have been lied to. Oh, that's so hard. Question. That's really hard. Again, that's more of like a talk it through kind of situation, because there's so many variables there, right? I just found out he lied about having cancer. Oh my gosh, right? He never asked for help or money. Why would he lie about it, especially after he moved away? It's hoovering. It's the hoover in the form of pity. It's hoover to get your empathy. If he can gain your empathy, he has your attention. If he has your attention, he has a chance of hooking you back in. And even if he doesn't hook you back in, he got your attention. It's attention seeking. It's meant to see if you really care about him. Not because he needs the relationship so badly because he's an amazing person, what amazing person would do that? But you know what I mean? It's to get you back. It's to get you, or at least your attention, right? And your empathy, because they love our empathy. They love it. We know how to give. If it was about, wait, what are you saying, Jen? Is there more to that? If it was about 3 or 4 months before my relationship started falling apart, yeah, a pitiful cry for attention. It's a pity ploy. I think I missed something, Jen. I think I missed another half of that. Oh, goodness. My youngest son is coming up, and his father, who used parental alienation against me, hasn't let me see him on his birthday for 10 years. Oh, that'll be, you know what? So he's coming to see you now, your son, Ellen, and yet, his birthday's coming up. Okay. It's one of those things where if you can't get access, you do your best to send a card, keep the door open, keep the chance for some reconciliation to at least be there, so the person doesn't feel like it's scary or you're unapproachable. Does that make sense? And then do some amazing things for yourself. Do some amazing things of self-care to take care of you when you're going through that. All right, what else? He never told me he loved me, but after we broke up, he said he was in love with me when we were together. Of course. They know how to. I remember saying, it was after discard, and we should talk. I'm like, all right, yeah, we should talk. And sitting in a restaurant, and I can remember every word I wanted to hear coming out of his mouth. Every year I'd been waiting to hear for years. Every single one. And I said, so you knew it all along. All along you knew what to say. All along you had this. This isn't an epiphany, is it? You knew all along. Why now? Why now? Why are you telling me this now? If this is how you legitimately feel, why didn't you just tell me in the millions of times you had the opportunity to say these things? And instead of saying, oh my gosh, I don't know, I was afraid, like a normal person would, I was afraid to say it. I guess I'm emotionally, I need to do some work on myself, instead of any accountability. It was, how dare you say that to me now? How dare you, when I give you all this amazing words, basically throw them back at me? I think at that point I just got up and left because, yeah. Okay, I was groomed to not talk about him with his family and his friends because he had lies upon lies to so many. Yes, and that is true. And that's part of the thing too, is they're always juggling the lies and the masks they wear. They don't like their worlds to collide often. They don't like I can remember him like really being like, he'd have to prep me before going into a new situation. So for instance, if I met work friends for the first time, he'd have to say, I'm a very different person at work. I'm very professional, and I'm very I'm not goofy at all. I'm not silly. I'm very, very, very strict, and I'm very this and I'm very that. And I'd be like, okay. So if I act different, that's why. In other words, I put on a mask for work. And yes, we all have our professional mask. Well, most of us, not me, but most people have. I get it. Most people have a professional mask depending on what you do for work, more so than others. But he basically groomed me to believe that this extreme difference in personality was normal. Yeah. And prepped it by saying that so that it wouldn't be in question. Anyway, obviously he's been told before, you act like different people in different situation. What's that? What's up? Anyway, let's see. Yep. Okay. Anything else today? Did I miss anything? Okay. I'm going to stop kicking this. I'm going to figure out how to move this table later. And okay. All right, you guys. That's it for today. I hope that helped a bit on the very complicated topic of, was it real for me? Was it real for them? Again, hard to talk about. If you feel any need for anything like talking individually, coaching or group coaching, check out the link in the description of every video. There's information there for that. Check out our support group on Facebook or elsewhere over on Queen Being. You can find information about that, or in the description below. I think it's down there. And if you've not hit subscribe, hit subscribe. If you want texting notification before I go live, text me. 33222 is the number, and put the word Lise Live, all one word, LISELIVE. Hit send, and I will text you. It's the only text you'll get, about 10 minutes, hopefully, prior to. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a good weekend. Bye-bye.